Hi, dear viewers and listeners. I hope you are all well. After my trip in Japan, now a new adventure has brought me to Poland. A country with beautiful natural landscapes and many historical places. I was passing through the city of Krakow when I heard a story that impressed me, which I am sharing with you now. Before starting, please subscribe to my channel and activate the bell button to be notified of the next stories. I will be happy with your likes and beautiful comments. Let's go to the beginning of the story. The Tale of Kazimierz and the Cursed Silver. Long ago, near the foot of the Carpathian Mountains in Poland, nestled a quaint village known for its skilled craftsmen. Among them was Kazimierz, a young blacksmith whose reputation for exceptional work had grown far and wide. His forge was a marvel, its flames never faltering, and his tools were prized possessions across the region. Yet, for all his skill and hard work, Kazimierz was unsatisfied. "No matter how fine my work, I remain poor," he often lamented to himself, watching the wealthier merchants and nobles pass through the village in their ornate carriages. "If only I could earn the riches I deserve, I could leave this place and live as a man of importance." Kazimierz's growing obsession with wealth distanced him from the simple joys of life. He stopped attending village celebrations, ignored his friends, and worked tirelessly in his forge, hoping his craft might one day bring him fortune. One stormy evening, as Kazimierz was closing his forge, an old traveler appeared at his door. His cloak was worn, his face shadowed beneath a hood, and his voice carried an unsettling calm. "Good evening, blacksmith," the traveler said. "I have heard of your skill, and I seek your help." Kazimierz, though wary of the late visitor, nodded. "What do you require?" The traveler reached into his satchel and drew out a lump of unpolished silver. It gleamed unnaturally in the dim light, its surface smooth and cool to the touch despite its rough appearance. "Forge me a goblet from this silver," the traveler said. "Do this, and I shall reward you with more wealth than you can imagine." Kazimierz's eyes gleamed with greed, but a flicker of unease tempered his excitement. "This is no ordinary silver," he said. "What is its origin?" The traveler's expression darkened. "It is silver drawn from the veins of the earth's soul, imbued with the weight of ancient sorrow. It is both a gift and a curse, depending on the bearer's heart. Use it wisely, or it may destroy you." Kazimierz hesitated, but the promise of wealth proved too great. "I will forge your goblet," he said, taking the silver into his hands. For 3 nights, Kazimierz worked in his forge. The silver resisted his tools, twisting and reshaping itself as if alive. He hammered tirelessly, the glow of the molten metal casting eerie shadows on the walls. By the 3rd night, his hands were blistered, and his mind was plagued by strange dreams of shadowy figures whispering warnings. At last, the goblet was finished. It was a masterpiece, a flawless vessel that seemed to radiate light. Kazimierz marveled at his creation, feeling an unspoken bond with the goblet, as though it were a part of his very soul. When the traveler returned, he smiled, pleased with the blacksmith's work. "You have done well," he said, handing Kazimierz a pouch filled with gold coins. "But remember my warning, the silver carries a curse. Use it sparingly, and never let it consume you." With that, the traveler disappeared into the night, leaving Kazimierz alone with his fortune. Kazimierz's life transformed overnight. With the traveler's gold, he expanded his forge, hired workers, and began crafting pieces for the wealthiest nobles in Poland. Soon, his name was known across the kingdom, and he was invited to royal feasts and courts, rubbing shoulders with the elite. Yet, the goblet lingered in his mind. It became his prized possession, displayed prominently in his home. Each night, he drank from it, convinced it brought him fortune. As he sipped, he imagined greater riches, and to his astonishment, his desires often came true. But the goblet's power came at a cost. Kazimierz became consumed by greed. He pushed his workers harder, demanded higher prices, and abandoned old friendships, seeing them as beneath him. The villagers, once proud of their blacksmith, began to whisper of dark magic and cursed silver. One winter's night, as a blizzard raged outside, Kazimierz sat alone in his grand home, the goblet clutched in his hands. He thought of the traveler's warning and the strange dreams that had plagued him since forging the goblet. But he dismissed his fears, convinced that his wealth made him untouchable. "What harm can it do?" he muttered. "This goblet has brought me nothing but greatness. I am invincible." At that moment, the fire in the hearth flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. A chill filled the air, and the goblet began to glow faintly. From the shadows emerged the traveler, his form now a twisted specter. His voice, once calm, now dripped with malice. "You ignored my warning, blacksmith," the spirit hissed. "This silver was never meant for mortal hands. Your greed has awakened its curse, and now you must pay the price." Kazimierz tried to plead, but the specter silenced him with a wave of his hand. The goblet shattered, releasing a torrent of silver mist that engulfed Kazimierz. His cries echoed through the empty house, heard by no one but the wind. The next morning, the villagers found Kazimierz's mansion abandoned, its riches vanished. His forge lay cold, and his name became a curse whispered in fear. Some claimed to see his shadow wandering the Carpathian peaks, clutching fragments of the goblet and muttering to himself. The forest where Kazimierz had once gathered his materials became a place of legend, said to be haunted by the wailing spirit of the blacksmith who had dared to defy the earth's sorrow. The tale of Kazimierz and the cursed silver reminds us that greed blinds the soul, and unchecked ambition leads to ruin. The gifts of the earth, no matter how tempting, must be treated with respect and gratitude. To chase wealth at the expense of one's integrity is to invite destruction, for even the most beautiful treasures can turn to ash in unworthy hands. Until the next story, take care. Be in the shelter of wisdom.